Great, Mike.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi there.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Glad that you're here today.
Thank you.
Before we get started,
Mhm.
I was wondering. I just wanted to make sure that you had filled out all the forms and stuff,
Yeah.
and got that all taken care of. And I just wanted to. It's like I feel it's an obligation for me to just let you know about our informed consent form,
Mhm.
and let you know that in the state of Ohio, I am obligated as a counselor, professional counselor, to inform the authorities if there's any type of abuse reported, whether
Okay.
it's spousal abuse, abuse to yourself, to a child,
Mhm.
or if you may have any type of feelings of harming yourself.
Okay.
Now, as far as that goes, that's the only type of time that your confidentiality will ever may possibly be infringed upon.
Okay.
There's a few others that deal with law issues and stuff and that,
Mhm.
but for the most part, those are mandated by the state of Ohio that we are required to do that. I just want to
Okay.
make sure that you're aware of this at the time,
Yeah.
so that because sometimes people will say something and then say, well, I didn't know that. So we
Yeah.
just want to verify that and make sure that's all straightened out
Sure.
before we start.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And what did you come here for today then?
So I've been asked to do the announcements at my church,
Okay.
which is nice to be asked, and it's really not a big deal.
Mhm.
But they asked me, I'm feeling really nervous about it, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know why, but last time they asked me, I did them. I speak in front of classes, I speak in front of groups. I have no problem with public speaking.
Okay.
I'm really comfortable with it. And so they asked me to do the announcements probably 6 months ago or so. And I did them, and I, in the middle of it, I got really, freaked out. And
Okay.
I said the wrong name of the pastor that was going to come up to speak. It was
Mhm.
really embarrassing. And everybody knows me, and,
Right.
I feel really accepted, like it's family. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I have no reason to be embarrassed in front of these people, even if I make a silly mistake.
Mhm.
They are still going to love me,
Right.
But that night, and after that, for many nights, I was just besieged with anxiety and
Okay.
playing this event over and over and over again. And it didn't make any sense. I really feel like it was a spiritual attack.
Okay.
And but it took a while for it to go away, and I had to pray through it and talk to my husband about it and everything. It was horrible. And now they've asked me to speak again, and I'm feeling this
Now
anxious.
you're
Like, am I
feeling-
gonna go through this again?
Right.
And yeah,
So you're getting that sense, it's like reliving that you're gonna make that mistake again, and the feeling is kind of overwhelming you a bit, and then you're fearing going in front of there again because you don't want to make another mistake.
right. And really, I'm not worried about making a mistake. I'm more worried about how I'm gonna feel afterwards.
Okay.
Like, am I gonna face nights of, just negative thoughts?
Sleeplessness.
Yeah, of just being bombarded with
Right.
rethinking, self-critiquing every little thing. Oh, I
Mhm.
should have said it like this. I shouldn't have said it like that. It was just, it didn't make any sense. I knew that it wasn't rational,
Right.
but I just kept replaying. I think it's part of a perfectionism
Okay.
thing that's in me, of performing and not making a mistake and wanting people's approval.
Mhm.
And the enemy was just nitpicking every little thing and torturing me with it.
So tell me a little bit more about this perfection issue that you're having.
So I feel like I understand it a little bit, and I'm trying to not be that way anymore,
Right.
right? But I used to procrastinate really bad, and it was because, what I came to understand was that I didn't want to do poorly.
Okay.
And so I kind of would self-sabotage by procrastinating, so that if I did poorly, I could say, oh, well, it was because I didn't have enough time. If I had had more time, I would have done better. So I was building in an excuse.
Yes.
So once I realized I was doing that, and that people that I cared about already accepted me and approved me, those feelings went away and I started procrastinating less.
Okay.
Right, so that part was it, but I'm wondering if this little, this anxiety that's coming, that came after that public speaking is some residual piece of that I need to work on, or is it just a spiritual attack?
Well, it sounds like you've had quite a bit of experience in public speaking and being in front of people, so it's the fear that you're feeling and the anxiety that you're feeling right now. It may be from the past, or it could be spiritual. That's something you might want to, expand a little bit more on that, and let's talk about that a little bit more and see if that might be a possibility.
The one, I am reminded that when my pastor asked me to do the announcements, it was right before we left to come down here, he also threw in this other comment that I was totally not expecting. He said, me and the other two executive pastors, we see you as, I'm already a leader, I'm already part of the board, but we see you as being somebody that's going to be up front in speaking. And so we want to foster that, and that's what this is, part of that, of just getting you in front of everybody more, because we see you as being an upfront leader. I can't remember the exact words used.
Okay.
But I was, on one hand, really honored by that. I wasn't expecting that, or even looking for that, But I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Right. It is an honor to.
Really cool.
Right.
And then the other part of me was like, well, oh my God, I can't even do the announcements without having a panic attack afterwards. Maybe I just don't want to be up front. Maybe I can just avoid this altogether by not doing it.
Right.
So
what I'm sensing is that you in one sense you enjoy doing it, but in another sense you kind of fear that they're going and want you to do more and more speaking in that, and just because of that one little incident might be affecting the possibility of you advancing in the church and being more vocal for them. And
it's almost like maybe
scary?
I want to avoid the spiritual battle. You know what I mean? So like if I get this kind of warfare after just doing the announcements, what else is coming?
Okay, well, can you, you were talking about spiritual warfare quite a bit here. Can you, kind of expand on that a little bit more as far as your fear of the spiritual warfare and what it might, how it's going to affect you?
I have, I feel like I am called to teach and to be a leader. I have kind of apostle teacher giftings. And so I'm really comfortable with that. I'm comfortable in front of people. But then after, this one episode, I was just hounded with, you weren't good enough. You can't even do this. You made a mistake just doing the announcements. You're no, this tape was playing. And I knew that it wasn't for me. But it was like nonstop for days. And I thought, I don't want to go through this again. So I don't know how to move ahead and honor, the calling. But I also want to avoid all that negativity, all that, because it was horrible.
Right. Well, have you done, so the only speaking that you've done then in front of the congregation as during the services was just the announcement so far?
Yeah.
But you've done in small groups, or?
Yeah, I've spoken in front of groups of 40, groups of, 15, 20, in front of our leadership board. I speak all the time. I mean, I've never felt like I couldn't speak. But this was, in front of, 500 people plus live streamed on Facebook to God knows how many people. And, so afterwards I looked out and I see all these people I know, all my friends, I was fine.
Right.
But then afterwards, that just picking apart of every little thing.
And that picking apart was coming from within yourself, but not, you weren't getting any vibes or feelings of others.
It wasn't from
affecting
any
that.
other people, absolutely not from any other
Mhm.
people. But, so I don't know if it was spiritual,
Right,
or if it was me, or if it was both,
right. So,
you know.
what you were hearing was coming from outside of you, or if it was just your just
My own
your
insecurities, yeah.
insecurities.
And if it is from myself, I wanna work on that. That's a place, that's
Right.
a stronghold of, that I don't want, that's not my identity, you
Well,
know.
can you tell me more about some, maybe, your insecurities, and see what maybe that might be able to relieve some of this?
So I think, I mean, I hate to pull out the father card, but you know, my dad left when we were
Okay.
6, and he was kind of on a pedestal,
Right.
and he and I were really close, and so
Okay.
when he wasn't around anymore, that was really devastating for me. But I always was trying to get his attention and his approval, and
Right.
he would say little comments through my growing up, like, you know, if you lived with me, you wouldn't be overweight, or if you lived with me, you'd be this or that. And so I always felt like I'm falling short.
Right.
He doesn't, you know, he's not pleased with me.
Okay.
You know, so I think that fed into it a little bit of for a long time, that I
Okay.
have to be something specific to get his approval.
Approve.
And I feel like we done? Okay.
No, not quite yet, but.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.